Do we call it a 2-for-1 or a 4-for-1 when we look at the Transformers Animated Shockwave slash Longarm and their two alt modes? There's a lot to unpack in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is Longarm slash Shockwave from Animated, and you know what? It's pretty cool. It's not perfect, but it's pretty cool, and honestly, I think maybe it has potential to even stack up to today's standards. But don't take my word for it. How about we head over to the table and take a closer look at everything to do with Longarm, I mean Shockwave. Delving once again into Transformers Animated, courtesy of our buddy Maximal 10, with kind of a 2-for-1 here, because we have Longarm and dun-dun-dun Shockwave. Of course, we all know from Animated that Longarm, or Longarm Prime, I seem to remember him being Longarm Prime, but I could be remembering inaccurately because it's been quite a while since I actually watched Animated. But we all know that Longarm was a pretty respected Autobot that turned into this crane thing, and we all know that we found out as the series went on, of course, that, oh, he's actually a Decepticon spy. It's actually Shockwave. Now, in this weird mode here, and I say weird mode because you can still see on the bottom of the hook here a Decepticon symbol, even though this is his Autobot alt mode. And not just is it weird to have a Decepticon symbol there, but that Decepticon symbol is actually the movie Decepticon symbol rather than like the regular cartoon symbol that we're used to seeing. It's the weirdest addition. I don't know why they put that on this guy. Nevertheless, before we go to him, we have to talk about... So let's talk about his bio for a second. It talks about how he actually went like to elite guard training. He spent years infiltrating the Autobots, and he became head of like the intelligence division of the elite guard and stuff. And then it turned out it was Shockwave all along. Then we have on the other side here, if this went into focus, I apologize. The instructions, these are trash. These are awful, awful instructions. Half the steps aren't there. I think a couple of panels might be repeated. This is not good. Good luck figuring it out by yourself like I did, or you can just watch what I do. So, as I said, this is Longarm's alt mode. It's a crane excavator type of thing. This would work really well with the like the Titan class. What was it? Cybertron Metroplex. Like, this is a weird construction-y thing. Like, that's a weird construction-y thing. And, you know, okay, cool, I guess. That can push in, and this can open out and come down straight, and it becomes more of a tank turret. These straighten up, and these legs straighten out, as do the toes. And now we have this tank mode, and this tank mode is Shockwave's alt mode, and yes, this still goes around, and yes, it can angle up, and yes, it can actually come off the back. In fact, I'm going to take it off the back now, and we'll do the transformation first to, I'm actually going to put it back into hook mode for now, because we're going to do the transformation to Longarm first, and then we'll go to Shockwave last. So, going from, I guess, Longarm's alt mode to Shockwave's alt mode, very easy. You just got to straighten these up and straighten the legs up. Gosh, where do I want to begin with this? I guess at the bottom. So, let's turn this guy around, and we're going to take these legs down, and we're going to take these little flat pieces that were down and close them in, and bring up toes, and bring up toes, and bring out heel, or bring out a heel. Now, depending on the version you're going for, is it Longarm or is it Shockwave, will determine which way these legs are. So you see I just turned him around and laid him on his back, because we're going to Longarm, and for Longarm, and split those apart. We split the legs apart, and that comes out on the side, and that comes out on the side for now. So these toes, back here, the two toes will be Shockwave. The one toe, or the heel, will be Longarm. Okay, now that we've got that done, we can open out this, I'll say hand, and bring that down on the forearm and extend that forearm. We're going to do the same here. I'll try and show it over here. We're going to take this piece and bring it down on the forearm, and then we're going to extend that forearm down there. And and we have to make sure that that's out to the side, and that's out to the side, and boom, in the end, here we have Longarm in his robot mode. I'm going to stand him up, I'm going to put this on his back, and then we'll talk about the transformation and a little bit about his articulation and whatnot. And I just wanted to make sure that I had everything in the right place, and I did want to do one other thing that's not in the instructions, but I guess I would say I found it has helped. I've heard of people doing it before. First thing to note is I like to turn this a little to the side so that this can fold back off of his head. Plus, I don't really like to see the Decepticon symbol there. Second, I actually put my thumb in on Longarm's face, and then I pull the head forward a little bit because it's actually meant for Shockwave, but you can pull the head forward so it's not down this far. This far, the head is quite static. When you pull it forward, it becomes less static, and it gives you neck rotation. Now, I just pushed it back in so his face will come back out, but honestly, if I was just using this guy and using him in this mode, I would pull the head out. So I'm going to count neck articulation and give him a point for that. What can I say? I guess transformation to this mode is pretty darn easy for the most part. I'm going to give it a, I don't know, 9, I guess. The look here, starting from the feet and going up for Longarm, and I'm not going to give him a score here because we have to talk about Shockwave too. This is a weird guy to score. You know what? Let's save the scores for the end. But I will talk about the coloration here. Starting from the feet, working our way up, we have gray here. We're missing a little bit of green right up at the top of the foot. The legs being all black and tready is about right. The kind of blue in here on the pelvis is correct, though I wish it was a little more pronounced. The blue on the tummy is correct. The way the chest is done is pretty much correct, although the Autobot symbol should be red. This is a tempoed. It looks like, honestly, it looks like a VAC metallicized Autobot logo. When it comes to the arms, the way the shoulders are is fine. The gray on the hands is okay, though the back of the hand should be black. And up here at the top of the forearm, I guess, like what would be like the cuff of his glove. That should also have a little bit of a blue detail up here around the head. We do have some of the detail here on the earpieces, but it should also extend up around the top of the head. So it's good. It's not perfect, but it is certainly good. Okay, the articulation in this mode, like I said, I can't do the head right now, but I'm gonna give him the head articulation. The arms here can go all the way around, out to the side, only that far. Not a great T-pose. Elbow to 90 degrees, bicep swivel. I guess if you wanted to, I guess you can get more if you want to push the tread forward. You know what? I'll give him that actually, because you can push the tread forward and get a better T-pose out of it. Swivel, elbow 90 degrees, wrist rotation. The fingers don't seem to open and close, nor does the thumb. No waist, that's a little bit of a bummer, but not a deal breaker. I wish that the legs, I don't know, tabbed in or something better than they do. We do have forward, we do have back, we do have splits all the way to the side. We do have a rotation at the knee, and a knee that's under 90 degrees. Nothing at the ankle. And I wish that these, like I said, had a locking in point or something more than what they got. It just, I don't know. They kind of soft tab into place, but they don't really lock per se. And maybe they did at one point, and that's just the age of the mold. Most of what you would want is there. A waist would have been nice, but with everything that this guy does, with 2 robot modes and 2 alt modes, I understand why a waist isn't there. I think the hands being as they are, I think that's a little bit strange, but whatever. I'm not I'm not going to get angry about it because it's really not worth getting angry about. Okay, let's do the switcheroo to Shockwave mode. So for Shockwave mode, we're going to extend an arm and extend an arm. We're also going to turn this hand and we're going to bring these down and turn the whole arm like this. So it's now like a claw arm, I suppose. We're going to do the same over here. We're going to turn the arm like this. I already have it pulled down as it turns out. We're going to turn that hand and we're going to bring these down over to give them claws. We're going to take this head and extend it all the way up and these up. There you go. His earpieces are now up. This will come off of his back. We'll get to that in just a little bit. The legs next. See if I can remember how this goes. Oh, actually before the legs, I should note that that turns around and that turns around. These earpieces are up. We can also bring these shoulders, extend the shoulders a little bit higher for Shockwave here. I gotta get this other shoulder up. There we go. The two shoulders are now up and I should be able to bring these pieces down. Why am I having trouble now with those? What is it that I'm missing here? Hold on. Yeah, they need to come down. Hold on a second. I have to figure out how to get these pieces down in order to kind of finish us off here. Ah, there we go. They just slide down. My mistake. Turn around at the knee. Turn around at the knee. Take the thigh armor and move it up. Take the thigh armor and move it up to give him spindly legs. There we go. And then finally we can take this piece and open it into a blaster and put that, you know, on his arm, a la Shockwave always having a blaster on his arm. And in the end, boom, here we have Shockwave in his robot mode. Oh, wait. I forgot to do that. There's so many little pieces and little things here, and I wanted to pull those down. I forgot that they slid. And it's easy to forget it, and the instructions are just awful. Once you do it a couple of times, it's pretty easy. So overall transformation, I think I said about a 9. I'm gonna stick with it because there's a lot sliding, moving going on here. A lot to remember, a lot going on. Very, very well done. The articulation, we know the limits that Longarm had. Let's do the articulation here now. For this guy, the head, it can look left and it can look right. The earpieces move. Again, there's not a lot in terms of T-posing, but we do have, you know, 90-degree elbow rotation. These can move forward. The fingers, I suppose, the claw fingers, they can all move. That hold there is the same over here to hold his like blaster on. Still no waist, right? Yeah, still no waist. The legs forward, the legs back. The legs can now full T-pose out to the side, no problem. By the way, if you wanted Longarm to have some of these features, you could always do like a half transformation. 90 degrees at the knee, rotation, nothing at the ankle. Now, the only other thing to do that's not in the instructions, but might as well, is that one click forward, because in the cartoon, when he would become Shockwave, he was a little like hunched over. So I'm gonna give him that, the hunched over, I mean, right? I gotta say the transformation, that was 8.75. The articulation, I'm gonna say about a 7.75, about an 8.25 overall for this guy. What about like the robot mode look here? We already went through it for Longarm. I didn't give a score for the paint apps. Starting from the bottom, working up. All this gray and black, all correct. The kind of bluey detail in here on his pelvis, and is it under? Yeah, just under his chest. That's accurate, though I wish it was a little more pronounced, but it's accurate. The Decepticon logo, this time it's gold, but it really should be, and it looks like the cartoon one, by the way, but it really should still be purple. The head is pretty perfect, really. The arms, the treads are correct. The blue and the red, that's correct. The black going all the way down to the elbow, that's correct. The gray forearms and the claws, that's correct. However, there should be detailing back here that's red and blue, and it's not there. But that's really only kind of the only thing. 8.25 is what he was getting. For the look, you know what it is. I'm going to say 8.5. Overall, the guy's about an 8.35. It is not a perfect long arm Shockwave. There's a lot of things here that I could see benefiting from doing an update. But if he never ever gets one, you can still get some pretty cool dynamic poses. Like, I don't know, for example, something like... I'm going to turn that and let me... Oh man, go in here, blaster. Go in here, blaster. Maybe not as dynamic as I would quite like, but like you can get something kind of cool like that where he's looking off to the side. It ain't perfect, but it's all right. Overall score 8.35. And here we are once again, and here he is. So I think that the Shockwave tank mode and the Shockwave robot is where this shines. I think the Shockwave robot is actually really good, a great Voyager. I think it's Voyager. I think the long arm suffers. I think his alt mode is a little goofy. And in robot mode, while he looks good for sure, his articulation is really limited. No waist, technically no neck unless you do, like I said, and kind of hold the face down and pull it out. Even then, moving it is a bit iffy. You know, the elbows are there, but they're a little bit limited. The knees, you know, they only go about that far. So, like, there's limits to long arms, I guess, goofy alt mode and robot that makes me think, that's not the strength here. However, that said, you could always do part of the transformation to get, you know, longer legs or something on your long arm, right? So there's ways to sort of work around it a little bit. Even if you wanted to do the full Shockwave body and just push the head back and lose the neck articulation and have it be like long arm, right? I mean, you could, but I do think that the more slender, more svelte, elongated body is the way to go. Really interesting transformation, great articulation, and a mostly accurate look in both modes. Not perfect, but really close. That's why he got, what was it, 8.75, and he deserves it every bit. Let me know what you think about animated Shockwave. I appreciate you guys coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, man. Have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a second, not for a moment, that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.